Hey everybody, it's been a while since I did a video about my Ranger Raptor, so I wanted to come out with a couple videos over the next couple days. So today I'm going to be talking about everything I've done on the interior of my truck, whether it's been posted in a previous video or not. I realize now, after a year and a half, I've posted more than 100 videos, so it's hard to go back and find specific ones and see if I've already done certain things or not. So I'm just going to go through the things that I've done in here and kind of tell you, yes, there's a video on this or not. And then tomorrow I'm going to do all of the performance and mechanical things I've done to my truck. Some stuff as simple as changing out the oil drain plug, and then performance wise, something like the Ford Performance Tune and so on, load box reinforcements. And then finally, I'm going to go through all the exterior mods that I've done, like the lights, the wheels, the roof rack, the rack over the bed, all the accessories I have, the stuff I have in the bed of my truck with the slide out drawer. And then finally, I want to talk about the future projects, the ideas that I have. So I'm going to be running a dual battery setup where I put a 100 amp hour lithium battery in the bed of my truck and then get a charging system that ties into the alternator battery up front, but only runs when accessory power is powered. So that way you're not draining the battery when the car isn't on or the truck isn't on. And it can also tie into solar, and I'm going to put one solar panel up on the top. Maybe I'll just put it out when I need it when I'm camping, but it's going to be capable of doing that. So, and I've got a couple of other ideas as well, but that's what the videos are going to be. So today I just want to get into it, all the stuff I've done on the interior of my truck. All right, so I've got 19 things to cover in the interior topic, so I'm going to get right into it, starting with the sound system. I upgraded the subwoofer, I added an amplifier, I changed out all the door speakers, and then I also changed out the center speaker. So I'm going to grab the camera and show you what the subwoofer and the amplifier look like, and then you can go back and watch the other video if you want to see the speakers. So here we are inside the truck. I replaced the stock B&O subwoofer with this Kicker 8-inch hideaway sub. It fits in the exact same spot. All you have to do is run power from the battery through the firewall back to here, and then you take the existing inputs that we're going to the stock subwoofer, plug them into this on the high level inputs. That's what turns this thing on and off, and then you're all set with a way better subwoofer. This is your stock amplifier. This powers your 2 rear doors, your subwoofer, and your 2 front door woofers, but not the tweeters or the center channel in the front. So what I did is all of these signals coming off of this, I ran into my Kicker Key 200 watt 4-channel, so 50 watts per channel amplifier, and digital signal processor right here. So this thing really does send a lot better signal and does a lot more signal processing to it to make everything even out and sound really good. You tune it by putting a microphone on the driver's headrest, so everything is centered around the driver. Not that it makes a huge difference, but it does sound a whole lot better. And then finally, I upgraded the center channel speaker. So the front 2 tweeters and the center channel are run off a separate amplifier, so it's not going to get any more power up there, but it does sound a whole lot better. So that's what I did on here. And then I also put new Pioneer speakers in all the doors, but I went kind of cheap on the speakers, and I think they need to be upgraded because they can't quite handle the 50 watts of power that are getting put out. They say they can, but when you really turn the volume up, it starts to crackle and not sound that great. So I think I'm going to try to upgrade them to some Kicker speakers that I can tie into this Kicker amplifier. Normally I like Alpine or Rockford Fosgate, but Kicker, I'm just sticking with all Kicker in this just to see. They do make some really good stuff, and it's really just personal preference. So that is it for the stereo. Another thing that I have inside my truck is this dry stop fire extinguisher. It's not very big. It's good for like one fire really, and then it's a throwaway. I bought a 4-pack. I keep this thing right here in the back of my truck behind the seat. You can see it and you can grab it if you need it. There's a right there. I can get it if I have to. If my truck catches on fire or I see someone else who's on fire, I can stop and help them. Just a good thing to have. So the next thing I did after I upgraded the stereo, I decided to put sound deadener pretty much everywhere I could. So I took the entire headliner down and put sound deadener up in the roof. I took all the door panels off and did sound deadener in all 4 doors. And then finally, I took the back seat out and the back wall cover trim off and put sound deadener on the back wall and the entire floor up to the footwell here, because then it starts to go down and you have that padding underneath it. So that does a pretty good job as well. So I would say of those 3, the one that didn't make much of a difference to me, to my ear, was the back wall. And I think the reason for that is that you've already got the seat covering everything. That's absorbing a lot of the sound that would come through that back wall. The doors made a huge difference, and the roof made probably the biggest difference, but the roof was a lot of work. Doors are extremely easy. You could do all 4 doors in 2 hours without too much trouble. By the end, I was getting an entire door done in 14 minutes. The first one took me, I think, like 35 minutes, and I just got faster as I went. The roof, dropping the entire headliner, it was an all-day job, but I was learning as I went. So I did a video on that. You can watch it if you want to, if you're interested in it. You also need to know how to drop the headliner to put a roof rack on, but that's going to be in another video. So sound deadening, I would say if you're interested in it, do the doors first, get a feel for it. And then if you have the inclination and the ability and the will to do it, do the roof. I would say if you have extra material, try the back wall, but don't buy more material for it. I did it, and probably, actually not probably, I would not do it again if I didn't have the material on hand. Okay, up next, Midland radio. This is a GMRS radio. I put this in here for when I'm out on the trails, or if I'm on a convoy car trip with other people that have GMRS radios instead of using cell phones. But I mounted this up to this front trim piece that goes over your center channel speaker. I put a piece of aluminum on the back side, cut out the hole for where the speaker is, and then basically laminated it together so it's nice and sturdy on here. And then while I was at it, I added 2 bullet point mounting ball mounts, I guess, and then they're extensions. And on the left side, on the driver's side, I have my phone MagSafe, I guess, charging thing. My phone just hooks on there with a magnet. And then on the passenger side, I have the handset for my GMRS radio. More often than not, I unhook this thing and put it in the glove compartment, but I keep it on here sometimes if I'm going to a trail, or just for this video, I wanted to show you what it looks like on there. And then when I put this thing on here and built this whole thing, there weren't a lot of options. So bullet point mounting solutions, or bullet point mounts, they make a lot of different stuff for a lot of Jeeps, Broncos, a bunch of different trucks out there, but there's not a lot of hard points on the Ranger Raptor or the Ranger in general, so they hadn't come out with one yet. I don't know if they have since. They said they were going to, but I haven't seen it. I know there's some other ones that go along this piece of plastic trim or hook onto this vent, which is a good solution, but that didn't exist when I put this thing together. So that's why I did this. It does a really good job, but I did have to drill a lot of holes in this top piece. Wasn't too worried about it. Worst case, if I try to sell this thing, I'll just take it all out and either buy a new one of these or just sell it with some holes in it. It is what it is. The next thing I did, since I'm right here, is the steering wheel. So through Signature Lux, I ordered this carbon fiber steering wheel. Definitely a personal taste. I know a lot of people think it looks kind of crazy in a truck. I really like it, so for me, it was worth it. Carbon fiber steering wheel, Alcantara on the sides. Use carbon fiber inlay for here too. You take your existing switches and buttons out of your old steering wheel and put it in the new one. And then I also got a different cover for the airbag because it was the plastic that matched the old steering wheel. I wanted something that was leather. And then I got blue stitching here, but I think I'm going to take some black ink from my fountain pen and color that in black so it's more subdued. Some other people commented on that. It's a little bit crazy with the blue here when nothing else in the truck is blue. At the time when I ordered it, I thought I was going to like it. And after their comments and after looking at it, it's not bad, but I think if it was a subdued black, just to kind of match everything else, it would look a lot better. So I'm going to do that. But anyway, I also got the paddle shifters, carbon fiber. So everything on here is carbon fiber. I really think it looks cool to me, but I know it's not for everybody. Okay, so I have to admit that I went overboard with the tough skins on this truck. I did the overlays on the front grille where it says Ford. I did the tailgate where it says Ranger. I did the Raptor emblems both in the running boards and on the tailgate. I got all of the interior ones. So this section here is carbon fiber with their domed resin on top. Carbon fiber here as well. It's not crazy. It doesn't stand out too much, and I like the way it looks, but some people might say it's cheesy. It is actual carbon fiber, but it's not making anything lighter. You're not replacing an existing trim piece. You're putting this over the trim piece with some 3M adhesive. So it is just a decal, but I think it looks cool. So I did all 4 doors. So the passenger side has this same setup. The rear just has this thing on the side because there's no thing up here for the locks or anything like that. And then I also, I'll have to get the camera off here to show you the rest. I also just recently got the overlay for the screen, and it goes down to there. So it's got the carbon fiber there as well, all the way up. Goes around all of the vents, and then it came with ones for the side vents as well. They're just little tiny rings. And like I said, I have the passenger side, and then this vent has it as well. And then finally, I got the center console. So this is a couple pieces. that goes around the outside and then just around this little trim piece here. So that's all the tough skins I did. I really like the way it looks. I think there's going to be a lot of people that say it's way too much. And again, to each their own. If you like it, give it a shot. If you don't like it, you know, do whatever you want. I did like the fact that this does not pop out with some crazy colors, but I could see other people putting some colors in here that they like. And you know what? If they like it, who cares what we say? All right, so this next thing, mod, upgrade, whatever you want to call it, is about as mundane as it gets. Basically, it's a damper for your glove compartment. It makes it come down slowly. Now, the thing I like about this one is that it only dampens on the way down. On the way up, nice and quick. On the way down, slow. And basically, you just hook it on here. It took about 2 seconds to install this thing. Clicks on here, clips on there, and then the thing closes easy, opens nice and slow. You know, it's a subtle little thing. I would have thought that this would have come with it, but it didn't, so I put it on there myself. I got mine from Signature Luxe, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of different options out there for it. Okay, next up on the list, this is a media box from Signature Luxe. There's a lot of different brands out there. This one works for me, and a lot of the other stuff I have is Signature Luxe. That's why I stuck with this one. It's not plugged in now, but what this thing does is your phone ties into this, and this goes and uses your screen. You can watch YouTube, you can watch Netflix. It basically bypasses the safety features of being able to watch things on your screen that you wouldn't normally be able to watch on a screen in your vehicle. Now, the reason I don't have it plugged in all the time is every time the vehicle gets accessory power, whether you're locking it, whether you're just walking by it with your key in your pocket, it'll energize this thing, and then your phone will hook up to it. If you're on the phone and it hooks up to this, it takes a minute to figure out what happens. You think you dropped your phone call, but it turns out it's just Bluetooth to this thing, thinking that it's on talking to this, but the vehicle itself isn't on and this isn't working. So after a while, that started driving me crazy. I use this thing pretty often. I keep it hooked up in here, and when I need it, I just plug it in, and then when I'm waiting for my kids at, you know, volleyball practice or horse riding lessons or whatever, I can sit in my truck and watch a show, but normally I just sit in my hammock. So my main reason for getting this initially was my phone kept having issues hooking up to my infotainment system through Apple CarPlay, the AirPlay, and it would be synced up, but no audio would come through. So I could adjust Google Maps on here and it would affect my phone. I could change stuff on my phone. It would affect here. It would show that things were playing, but no audio would come through. I would try all the different things. I tried, you know, turning it off, turning it back on, muting it, whatever. The only thing I could do is disconnect and reconnect the phone, or do a hard reset on everything by doing next track and volume down, hold it for like 10 seconds and the whole thing would restart. This thing completely eliminated that. So I didn't have any issues trying to get things hooked up. But like I said, this would constantly be hooking up to my phone whenever the vehicle would get power. And these trucks, if you have one, you know, just every once in a while, you'll be walking by, it's been shut down for 2 hours. You walk by it and you start hearing things clicking up in the engine bay and just all over the place. It's a little bit weird. So I just have little 3M Velcro things on here. I keep it Velcroed right here, and it just stays in here all the time. I plug it in when I need it. The rest of the time, the cord is just sitting here ready to go. Cool feature. You know, like I said, you can watch TV, YouTube, whatever apps you have. It's basically an Android device. So you can download any apps that you have on an Android onto this thing and use it as your screen. Another thing I have in here, and someone else asked me about this, is the knife I keep on here. This is just a Benchmade dive knife, and it comes with this sheath, and I just zip tied it to this pillar here. That way I always have a knife. Honestly, I use this thing more for opening oranges and things like that, but I like it because it's not a sharp point. This is a, like I said, a dive knife. This is not for stabbing. This is not for fighting. This is a utility knife. It also has that hook thing there. I don't ever plan on cutting my seatbelt. And honestly, with the blade on the edge, that's probably not the best idea with this because you probably slit your own throat or something. But I do like having a knife right here, you know, opening Amazon packages or anything like that. It's nice to have. And then that's really it for up here. So the media box, and this is my Benchmade dive knife. You could use any knife with a sheath and just zip tie it on here. This is just the one I use, and it works pretty well. It's black, it's subdued, it doesn't stand out. And like I said, I'm not getting out of the car to start a fight and pulling this knife out. I don't know how well that, I mean, it'd be better than not having anything, but that's not the way to solve problems. This is more for opening packages, cutting oranges open, things like that. Oh, another thing, while we're up here and we're looking here, I did put a screen protector on my tablet. Honestly, I don't think it makes much of a difference. I haven't been getting a whole lot of fingerprints on my existing tablet screen. It's not scratching, But I was thinking, when my hands are dirty, if I have like dust and dirt and grime and crap on my fingers and I'm constantly touching stuff, is it going to scratch that screen? I don't think it would, but a screen protector was only like $20 or something. Maybe it was $25, and it went on really well. I have forgotten that I had it on here, and I was going through all the things I've done, going through my Amazon list, and I saw this thing. I was like, oh yeah, I put that on like a year ago. And it still does a great job. It does not affect negatively the touchscreen capability at all. It doesn't hinder like viewing it, seeing how bright the colors are or the contrast or anything, all those fancy words for pictures. But that's just one other thing. Worth it. It's peace of mind. I don't think, like, if I hit it with a hammer, the whole thing is going to break. If I, you know, I don't know what I could possibly drop or throw at it to scratch it. But if that were to happen, I can take the screen protector off and the screen itself is not going to be scratched. It's not like a phone or a tablet where you drop it. But, you know, they had a screen protector and I got it just to peace of mind, I guess. Preventative maintenance. All right, two more things up here. First and foremost, this is just a flashlight. This is the Nightcore EDC29. Another YouTuber that has the Colorado ZR2, his name is Tactical Drive. He does a lot of videos like this and he goes through a lot of tactical stuff. He was a police officer for a while. He talked about this flashlight. I got it, it was awesome, and found the perfect spot to put it up on my A-pillar here. So it has a safety switch. So if that's switched, you can't turn the light on. When you take it off, you got just a regular flashlight with the different modes. And then it has like a super bright mode, which is insane. It actually makes my hand pretty hot. So this thing is a beast and it runs for a really long time. USB-C to charge it. It tells you how much battery you have left. I just really like it. And again, it's black, it's subdued, kind of like my knife down here. I just stick it up here and forget about it. And then if I need a flashlight when I get out of my truck, it's just right there. I just pull it off of there. It does make the A-pillar stick out just a tiny bit, or the trim, but it's not that bad. So flashlight up here, knife down here, both don't stand out. They're not something totally obvious, but extremely useful things to have, kind of like the fire extinguisher in the back. Next up, I've got my dash cam. This has a dash cam looking forward. It's 4K. This has the Sony sensor in it, so it does really well in low light. It also has a camera facing inside to just see everybody in the vehicle. That might not be for everybody. My wife didn't want that, so hers only has the forward and the rear view on the back window. This one has the forward, the inside, and then I also have the rear view on the back. I've been rear-ended twice now. Both times I had my hammock system in and it actually messed that up and not the truck itself. And both times I had a camera, so I was able to see the footage and go through that. Makes it a whole lot easier I mean, you get rear-ended, it's pretty obvious who's at fault, but it's always good to have this. So I like this one. This is the Nexus 4 Pro by Vantrue. I also had one when I first got the truck that went over the existing rear view mirror and had the camera on the left-hand side. You could adjust it so you can have your mirror set the way you like it, have the camera pointed out, and then the backup camera was weatherproof. So I ended up putting it underneath the truck on a cross brace right by the transmission looking forward, and it was like an undercarriage. I could see the suspension, I could see what the front wheels were about to do, in addition to the forward-looking camera that you get when you're in off-road mode. But it was kind of cool, but it got so freaking hot. And then the other thing I didn't like about it is it was not all that great of a mirror itself. And I really like having a rear view mirror where when I move my head, the stuff that I see in the mirror changes too. When it's just a screen and I move my head and it doesn't move, it's like that uncanny valley. It's a little bit weird. So I went back to the normal rear view mirror. It is what it is. Some people really like that. I know Wolfbox is coming out with some that have like multiple cameras, which I really like that idea. You could have, you know, one facing back, one underneath. I know the lady that works at the horse farm that we go to is talking about trying to get a camera on the back of her trailer. So I think we're going to set her up with the Wolfbox where she can have the forward looking and then have one maybe inside to look at the horses and then one on the back. She'll have it all up there because you can't even see out your rear view mirror when you're towing a huge horse trailer anyway. So that's what I did. I hardwired this thing in. I do have it set up to do both parking and normal, but I turn the parking stuff off. I park on base. I'm not too worried about that, but I do have that option. You could plug it in through a cigarette lighter, 12 volt, but I actually hooked up a couple fuses. I did a whole video on that, how I ran the wires up into the trim around this, up through the headliner, down the A-pillar, and to the fuses. So that's it. I really like it. I will never drive a car without a dash cam again, just because some other people are idiots, and then they're going to try to blame you. But if you get it all on camera, it's pretty obvious to show what happened. All right, we're just about done. Two last things. First one is I put these brushed aluminum pedal covers with some big rubber grippies over the brake and the accelerator pedal. The brake comes with a big rubber cover. You just take that one off, put this one on. The accelerator pedal has no cover on it. This one just goes over it, but it doesn't make it feel any different. You might be adding a 1/4 inch, but for me, I can't tell the difference. I go between sandals or big old combat boot type things, and you know, I don't have the feel. It's not like I wear driving shoes with a tiny sole and do like heel toe, all that stuff. But anyway, I put these on there. They fit really well. They haven't come off. They haven't moved. They haven't fallen apart in like 6 or 8 months. So if you're looking for something other than just the black rubber or black plastic, these are from Signature Luxe, brushed aluminum with some rubber. They do a good job. Next up, I want to talk about the floor mats. When you buy a Ranger Raptor, you get all weather mats and it has the Raptor emblem in it. They look really cool. But the thing I really didn't like about them is there's nothing underneath the accelerator pedal. So when you put your foot in there with whatever dirt and grime you have on it and it's on the pedal moving around, all that stuff that falls off is just going down on the carpet. So I went ahead and got this AAA liner, the whole set, the front and the back, and actually a bed liner too. And it covers the entire underside of the gas pedal. It's a little bit bigger on the dead pedal. It goes up a little bit further. It also goes up a little bit higher on the inside. So dirt doesn't get around the sides nearly as much as it did on the other ones. This is really good when it's wet. It's not slippery at all. That one wasn't either, but I've heard some other people say some of the ones they've had, the all-weather ones that they got that were off-brand, were a little bit slippery. This is AAA. I don't even know if they still are in business. This is just an Amazon special that I got. It was like 180 bucks for the whole set, fronts, backs, and the bed cover. And they're freaking awesome. Way better coverage. The back is the same. I'll actually show you what the back looks like. So in the back, it goes on this side, goes over the hump in the middle and onto the right side. But the biggest difference is it goes up higher around the carpet here, so stuff doesn't get down underneath there, and it covers a little bit more of the trim here. Overall, I mean, the one that comes with the Ranger Raptor in the back doesn't say Raptor or anything, so it's not much different, just a little bit more coverage. And I mean, you saw them. I don't keep them very clean. I don't come out and brush them very often, but they do a really good job. My kids are always getting in and out of the truck with their dirty muck boots and stuff like that. So I am a huge fan. So I'll show you real quick. This is the coverage you get with the stock. So it does cover out here a little bit. You have nothing underneath the accelerator and half the brake. And then your dead pedal is covered pretty much the whole distance, but not quite as high up. And it doesn't come up as high over here. Doesn't go up as high on the inside. So it does look good and it does say Raptor. I will give them that. But when you put the AAA liner, it goes up higher here, covers underneath the accelerator pedal all the way over here, dead pedal, and comes up higher here. Just keeps more crap from going down and getting onto your carpet. All right, everybody, so there's part one of my Ranger Raptor 18 months of ownership, 24,000 mile overview of things that I've done to it on the interior. Tomorrow or the next day, the next video will be for the exterior. So all of the off-road lights, the amber running lights, the amber marker lights, all of the stuff I have mounted up here, the actual mount itself and the gear, the rack I have over the bed, the tent, the fuel, the tonneau cover I have, the cargo management system I have in the back of the truck. I'm going to go over everything. Let's see what else. The rock blocks, mud flaps, the tailgate inlay that I buy from Billy Bars, all the Tough Skins inlays like I have on the inside. I have them on the outside too. I have them over the Ford. I have them on the tailgate. I have them on the running boards. I really like them. The stubby antenna, very minor, but that's just something else to do. And I'll show you that it fits perfectly underneath the Slimline by Front Runner. Let's see. And that's really it for the exterior. Also the 3D emblems that I have on the sides. And then the next video, and I'm going to talk about how I wired everything. So I'll go in depth on some of that stuff. The next video I'm going to do is all the mechanical and performance things I've done to my vehicle, to include the Ford Performance Tune, the S&B cold air intake, the oil catch can, the, what else do I have on here? The ditch light mounts right here that I have that were also hood struts, but these were made for the Australian truck, which has a steel hood. We have an aluminum hood, and it would actually bend the hood when I would try to put it down on those struts. It worked great for the steel hood. There are some American companies that make a better strut, hood strut system for our trucks that have more I guess, bracing and brackets for the hood itself, so you're not putting crazy stress on it. I ended up taking the struts off of mine. We'll talk more about that later. I did the Ronin oil plug, auto start stop eliminator, the Method 703 wheels. That could go under exterior, but it saved me like 20 pounds, so more of a performance thing than anything. The load box reinforcement brackets, which is something you only need to worry about on 2024 Rangers built before October timeframe. There's a date in there, but I've heard people say it can go a little bit either way. So just know it's something you need to look at on 2024's built before October-ish. I cleaned and painted all of my drive shafts just because they were rusty and I didn't like it. And then finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about the maintenance I did at 20,000 miles, the transfer case, the differentials, the fact that, well, not the fact, and then I also changed my oil every 5,000 miles. So that's going to be that video. And during that, I will also talk about the future projects that I have planned. I'm going to be doing a dual battery system where I have a charger up front that ties in only when the vehicle is on, so you're not draining your battery when the vehicle's off, to charge a 100 amp hour lithium battery that I'm going to have in the bed of my truck that's going to be able to be powered from the truck and also from a solar panel that I can put up when I'm out camping. So it's kind of it's not just as simple as running wires from your battery to another battery. You've got to put some circuitry in there to separate the two so that when you run that battery down, you don't kill your main battery so that you can't get off the trail the next day. I'm going to talk about my plans for the bed of the truck. I'm thinking about getting the single drawer deck system and changing out the tonneau cover. Not really sure. I also have an off-road trailer. I was debating moving this tonneau cover to that. Got to do some measurements. So I have some ideas for future videos and future projects to do. I want to do some undercarriage cameras. I had a setup for my dash cam for a while, but I didn't really like the way it worked. So I went with the different dash cam, but I did like the idea of an undercarriage camera. So I'm going to do something along those lines. I'm going to get my front windows tinted. A year and a half and 24,000 miles. I still haven't done it. I made it all the way through summer and I still didn't do it, but I want to do it because it looks better and it will keep the inside cooler. I'm going to upgrade the speakers. I talked about that a little bit. And then finally, when these seats wear out, I want to get the cat skins upholstery inside where they take the existing upholstery off and put new, better, thicker, stronger upholstery down. It's not cheap, but it's a whole lot better than regular seat covers that go over the existing ones. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully this was useful. If you've watched all my previous videos, you really didn't see anything new here, but I just wanted to put it all together because like I said before, I have like 100 and something videos and I'm not all that great at making thumbnails that make it easy to find. So if you see something in one of these videos and you're curious about it, put a message in or leave a comment and I will find that video and link it. I don't want to put all the links to the videos in the description. That won't be all that useful. So just let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this is useful. If it's not useful, leave a comment and I won't do the next ones. If you do think it's interesting and you like all of it in one spot, let me know and I will continue on. Cheers, everybody.
It's over!